want to go over some of the very high level considerations to take into account when purchasing a rental property. Should I purchase this rental property? Should I not purchase this rental property? Why or why not? What should I be looking for exactly? At a very high level, first, I think you should have your goals kind of written down specifically as they pertain to real estate investing. For example, in the long term, where do you want to be with your real estate portfolio and kind of why? What is it supposed to do for you? Do you hope to retire early? By what age? How are you going to do that? How much money do you need to retire? Is it a passive income goal you're striving for? Is it a certain amount of net worth? Before you even think about purchasing a rental property, I think you should have those things hashed out. At least, you don't know exactly where you're going to be, but you should have a general direction of where you want to be going. Maybe it's a passive income goal. Maybe you want to achieve a certain passive income dollar amount per month by a deadline. And by writing that out and by thinking about that, well, one, by writing it down, it makes you think about it, which is a very useful exercise in and of itself. But after you have it written down and after you've thought about it, it's going to inform your investing decisions. For example, after you've done that and a deal comes across your desk and you're thinking, well, should I purchase this or should I not? There's so many things to take into account and so many considerations, but all of them could be a waste. You could be wasting your time if that particular deal is not in line with the direction you want to go. For example, if my goal is to acquire a 100-unit rental portfolio with each property cash flowing at $200 per door, and a flip comes across my desk that's going to be a major rehab and it's going to produce $40,000 in profits in 6 months from now, which is going to be taxed heavily, and I won't know what to do with it. It's going to take all of my time over the course of 6 months. Well, that could be nice. That profit could be nice, and it could help you build your portfolio. But if it's at the cost of maybe doing something that's more directly related to your goal of building a buy and hold portfolio, if it's going to take away from that, you might pass up that opportunity. It's all about opportunity cost. But you wouldn't know to make that decision if you hadn't thought about your long-term goals in the first place. So think long-term, have a high-level idea of where you want to go, and that's going to help a lot. There is a couple of factors that we should look at here. One, cash flow. Whether you're striving for a passive income goal or a cash flow goal, you should know how the property is going to perform because it's going to affect your budget. It's going to affect your bottom line. So you want to know, can this thing sustain itself? Look at the numbers, look at the rental rates, look at the mortgage payment, property tax, insurance, maintenance, all those things, and then look at the bottom line. How much cash flow, if any, is this going to produce every single month? And cash flow might not be your goal. You might be an appreciation investor, but regardless, you should know how positive or negative that cash flow is because you're going to have to have the budget for it, regardless if it is negative cash flow. So you need to know if it's negative cash flow, $500 a month. Well, shoot, you better have X number of months worth of savings to cover that. If your goal is to maybe sell it in 5 years because you think it's going to appreciate, you should be able to float that difference. So look at the cash flow, then look at the potential appreciation benefits. They say historically real estate appreciates 3% per year over the long term. That varies a lot by market and a number of other factors. So it could be more than that. It could be less than that. It could be negative. It could depreciate. Certain markets do that. I think it's uncommon, but it's definitely possible. And so think about the appreciation and think of where's that going to fit in your rental portfolio. Cash flow and appreciation. So the other thing is like your timeline, your investing timeline. Do you plan to hold this property for, and maybe I should have started with this, do you plan to hold this property for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? That makes a huge difference. If it's a 1 year hold, then appreciation is not going to be a huge factor in making your decision just because it's going to be pretty minimal relative to the size of the investment. Maybe your goal is to collect a certain amount of cash flow over that period, or maybe you just want to flip it for a quick profit. That's a whole nother analysis than if you're thinking, okay, I'm buying this property with the intention to hold it 10 years because then you're going to budget for appreciation over the course of that period and factor it into your return on investment, because it's not just the cash flow you're going to collect year over year. It's also going to be the buildup of that appreciation, which compounds, which should be factored into your analysis. But all that depends on kind of where you want to go and what you're striving for. What are you optimizing for in your investments? So start at a high level with your goals. What direction do you want to go with your real estate investing? Analyze the cash flow, analyze the appreciation at a minimum, super high level, and factor that into your time horizon. How long are you going to be doing this? How long is this investment hold period projected for? I think that's a great way to look at any real estate deal to determine if it makes sense for you to execute on. And if it doesn't, pass up on it. There's nothing worse than executing on a bad deal. It's better to do no deal than a bad deal, unless you want a very expensive education, but I don't recommend that. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. Thanks, guys.